could have taken off the bench. 4 bolts, pretty easy enough. It's getting heavier, this thing. That's my current setup. That is the rod which is connected. This one is still loose because it needs adjustment. I haven't got the pin in, as you can see. And that there, when the foot pedal's at rest, this setup, you need to make sure that there's no pressure on the actual clutch, otherwise this is going to engage the clutch even if you just got a little bit of push on it. So there needs to be a bit of lag of about 1 millimeter, bit of play, and should be good to go. Right, so this is where I'm at. I've lined the clevis pin up, and you make sure that you got your pedal at its neutral position or at rest position. You make sure also that this fella is at its neutral position, and both of these holes should line up without any effort whatsoever. You should be able to slide in your pin. Now I had to remove this booster part in order to unscrew this fella here, because when it's that tight against here, you just cannot push it back far enough and to make adjustments to this. So I just found it easier to drop this off. It's 4 bolts. Guess with the old screw in this thing, whichever way you need to, and then putting it back together just with 2 bolts, and that should get you somewhere near. So I reckon I'm close enough for this to go in. The last one was quite tight when I put it in. Right, so there we go. This bad boy should tap in, should line up easy enough. Somewhere there's a locking pin which needs to go on there, which is down here. So remember that. Slide that in. Should have some pliers somewhere, but I don't have any handy to bend that. That should do it. Don't like using a screwdriver like this, not good practice. There we go. That's that fella set up. Whew. And I think I'm going to try and put this in now. I'm going to slide this into position because it's getting too heavy and too bulky to manipulate on the car. So now I think I'll slide it in. I don't know if I can set that up. I'll tell you what, I'll try and set up the actual master clutch on here next, because I think that needs the pedal pressing to check it. Right, next up, master cylinder. This is going to come off, but I want to keep it on for the time being, just to stop the hydraulic fluid coming out. So you have to make sure this has a 1 milli clearance between, I'm assuming, this, and I have no idea how you adjust it at the moment. And let me have a look. This is a master cylinder, and that's that washer we replaced earlier. It's like a cup. So that is going to push against there. But in order to prevent the air leaking out, you need to make sure that this has a bit of clearance. Now when I've offered mine up, you can see it's got a bit of a wobble there, so I think that is sitting proud. It's actually pushing on the servo, I think. So somehow that has to be adjusted. Try it in that direction. Yeah, if I do it, it's not far out. I mean, it could well be that that's just not machine level. You can see there is a wobble there. So I'm not sure. It feels smooth enough. All depends on how these tolerances, doesn't it? I mean, if they're warped slightly, then it's going to wobble. Alright, I'm going to see how you adjust this thing, and we'll take it from there. Alright, servo adjustment. I looked at mine, and it is the actual surfaces, mating surfaces, that aren't 100% true. But if I place that on there, and I pull the actual pedal, initially there's no movement, but as soon as I go a little bit more, you can see that it's pushing the actual piston up. So initially, so I reckon there's just enough gap there, because I am moving the pedal, nothing happens. It's hard to show on that. So I am moving the pedal and nothing happens to the piston initially, but then if I give a bit more force, it does move. So I reckon that's pretty well set up. To adjust it, which I've had to, you can see in here, there's, I think that's about 7mm, and then the one below it is a lock nut which is 8mm, and you pull your, see mine's been easier because I'm doing it out the actual vehicle. If you're inside, you're going to need someone to actually depress the clutch pedal for you, but I can do a one-man show here, and you'll see this moves out. Push it down to make it easier. Impossible almost to film and do it, but I'll give it a go. I'll put my knee to some use. This is the equivalent of pushing the actual clutch pedal down. You can see that draws out, so you can get a spanner on, undo the lock nut, and then use this top dome nut to either tighten it or loosen it to give you that clearance. So I think mine's pretty good. It's a bit of a faff on, and like I say, let me let that back down. So you're going to need someone to depress your clutch pedal for you, so you can make that adjustment. I think I'm there with mine, I'm happy with that. I don't think I'm going to get it any better than that, so I'm going to go ahead and put the actual master cylinder onto this. Alright, now is a suitable time to take this thing off. I have loosened it, cracked it off. Just didn't want to get hydraulic fluid everywhere. Right, that's good enough. That will sit on there, hopefully. That's one on. Alright, next up, one braided hose, which is to connect this fella. I think if you left it on actual master cylinder, I think it would clatter with the bonnet. So it's a removal of that and a replacement. So this is going to be tied into this with a braided hose. It's going to be repositioned on that bracket at the side. Right, so I'm just going to tag this on loosely for a start, and the setup is, let me have a look, it's going to be this fella. It's a weird shape to it, it's kind of holding a weird shape. I'm hoping it pulls out when I get it in position, but we'll see. So it's going to be the bolt, hydraulic bolt I should say, with a hole in, tapped in, copper washer through the banjo setup, and then another copper washer, and that is going to go into the master cylinder somehow. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that loose so I can reposition it on the other side. Alright, here we go. I have no idea how this setup works. No clear pictures of how it goes together, but I've had a look at it, and I think, let me have a, I think it's going to be The centre part, I think it's going to be copper washer. I think it's going to be the braided hose, and then I think it's going to be another one of those. And then I think all of that is going to get screwed into there. I think. I'm not going to tighten it up because I don't want to crush the copper washers yet. And that looks okay, that. I think that's pretty good. Now this part, which I've taken off, is where the hydraulic pipe that's existing, that's on the car at the moment, which we're going to bend in a minute into a different position. And this, I think, is going to sit on the bottom through this. So again, I reckon it's that. So we've got the hydraulic bolt, copper washer, this brass union, and then another one of those. Not sure about that. And this is going to go on the back side of this. Like that. So that's the setup I've got. No idea if it's right or not. All of this is loose. I'll tighten it up when it's back on the vehicle. But, seems okay. I seem to have a spare copper washer as well, which is a bit worrying.